Okay, this is your host, Mysterious Mystery, and I know I've never done a Star versus the Forces of Evil video, but this has been kind of buzzing around my head for a while about the finale. Now, I didn't despise it as much as I did the Steven Universe finale, but it did have its problems. First off, it did feel a bit rushed, but I can deal with that. Second off, and most importantly, which I suppose should be the first point, I did not like how they fixed the problem. Now, they're pretty much the solution to the whole, what's called Solarian Knights thing was get rid of all the magic. And Marco at first is against it, but then like Heckbu says, yeah, whatever, just blow it up. And he says, but you're mad at a Magic Guild die too. And yeah, pretty much has a line like, oh, I'm gonna miss her. I'm like, wait, that's it? Like, he's known her probably literally longer than any other member of his family or friend. This is like his oldest friend. And all he has to say is, I'm gonna miss her. Like, I know they had a bit of a falling out, but in other episodes they seem to more or less like make up for it. Like they're cool with each other. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like destroying all the magic in the multiverse is not a good idea because like I'm guessing throughout multiple dimensions, creatures like yeah, in the bar at the edge of nowhere or whatever, like there are some people who ran away from people misusing the magic powers. I'm like, okay, but I still feel like what's it called destroying all the magic in the multiverse is the wrong call, and I don't know why Glossaryck was so cool with it. I just don't get that guy. Like in a few episodes ago, he was telling me Yora, um, showing her how to use her magic, and he's like, oh, I guess magic's in good hands. And then like now he's said, I think he made the right call, destroying magic. Like not even so much as an argument. I mean, I guess they try to play him off as cryptic, but honestly, he just comes off as annoying and makes nonsense. And even when he does tell you the right thing, you can't really trust what he says because like Jan says, "Where's Star?" Um, what's it called? He said she's with Duke Duke, and he's like, "Oh right, you make no sense." So I'm like, what was I expecting? Because yeah. Anyway, so that's the main thing that kind of annoyed me. Like, I feel like destroying magic was the wrong solution to that problem. But then again, I guess the writers kind of wrote themselves in a corner with the whole Moon thing, and like I can see actually why Moon did what she did. Like, I'm not saying it's right or anything, and what she did is easily messed up, but yeah, like think about Moon's character. Like, ever since she became Moon the Undaunted and fought up the monster armies, she's pretty much dedicated every moment of her life to helping the kingdom and her people. And Eclipse pretty much, they don't really highlight this. They kind of do in one episode, but all the year people, the reason they don't like her is because she pretty much, like, they lost their jobs and then she took away their homes and then they are forced to live in the woods and Moon and River pretty much helped them. Oh, Moon and River. Jeez, I never said their names out loud. Yeah, never mind. Sounds like Moon River, the song. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like getting rid of magic's the quick fix, but not the fix to the problem. And none of this would have happened if, she, I don't know, started expanding their territory. Like, since the monsters no longer live in the wilderness, they could have gotten rid of those old woods. There's a map in, like, the Book of Magic. At least I've seen it. I don't know in the Book of Magic, so this is going off memory. So, like, most of the monsters lived in the wilderness, and, yeah. It's like in this one forest called Forest of Death or something. So why not just destroy that forest, chop it down and build some new houses there, that would get jobs and that, have a place for the people to live instead of just kicking them out with no real warning. Like literally, like the first family, we just see them like they have like the old monster. He's like, yeah, my grandparents used to live in this house. This is our ancestral home. And then he's like, well, where are we supposed to go? I was like, I'm not sure. Like, she just didn't tell them anything. And, yeah, I feel like that's where the main problem is. Eclipse did not really doing anything for her people. I guess this kind of reinforces the thing where people think she likes monsters more. Like she just, I'm gonna guess, fired a bunch of humans and gave them monster jobs, but then gave the monsters their jobs. And yeah, that's one thing that bugged me. Another thing that bugs me is like they wanted to break, like they used it as Star Wars was the first. Jesus, Star Wars is the first of evil as a type of allegory for racism and slash a Game of Thrones kind of throne thing. There are a handful of problems there. First and foremost, the demons and the ponyheads. Now the demons are pretty much like longtime allies, and I'm guessing that's why they're like never dragged into war. And like, why if you marry a demon, you're not going to get in any big trouble. And the ponyheads have been allies for centuries, for generations, so there's that too. But the monsters, like that in itself is a problem. The name monster. It's like saying like, okay, we're no longer at slaves with, we're at war with these people anymore, but we're still going to insult them a bunch and all that. And the monster itself, like, I'm amazed the monsters aren't upset about the whole being called monsters thing, because like they have individual species. They're not just a conglomerate. There's the slimes, the frogmen, the kappas, the lizard men. I don't remember any of the rest. I know there are more, but I don't remember all of them. Anyway, so the demons and the ponyheads, they get their own distinct, you know, their own distinction, but the monsters are all kind of put in a group. And if they honestly want to change that, they'd stop calling them monsters and start calling them that individual species names. That's like, I don't know, like if slavery ended, when slavery ended, like again, up to this day, people still called black people niggers instead of, African Americans or Nigerian born or this and that and third or whatever they want to be called. And yeah, it's a kind of a pain to memorize all those names and such, but it's kind of key. And sometimes they do go too far with them, but yeah, you need the distinction, and they're not giving the distinction to the monsters. Which brings up another question: why the hell didn't the monsters leave earlier? Honestly, the humans have been showing themselves to be extremely violent, and when they want their territory, like Celeria, they paint her as like this super warmonger in the book, but even before her, Skywind and the other queens did encroach on the monster's territory, and the monsters just kind of took it. Like, A, how come the monsters never fought back in any respectable amount? And B, how come the monsters just never left? Like I get the humans or the humans really, because like leaving dimensions is like pretty much the equivalent of just going over to the next town. So literally, like when this whole human supremacy thing started and they try to wipe out the monsters, and the monsters say, you know what, fine, keep the lands. There are other dimensions, and they just go off to a different dimension that's habitable. So yeah, and now that Magic High Council's dead, I'm a little sad that they didn't even show any part of Hekaboo left. Part of me hopes that she's still alive, but I know better. She ceased to exist alongside all the other magical creatures. I got a question about Romulus. I think that's his name, like the guy with the crystal head and the snake hands. But pretty much before Eclipsa, he's only in like that one incident with Star and Marco. He's only ever in Lekmid. He's only crystallized criminals. So, and like those things are magical items, so I'm gonna guess all the crystals disappeared, and wherever those monsters were from, they went back to their home dimensions. So that's potentially thousands, if not tens of thousands, of criminals set free. That's another problem I have. Like, okay, are those guys just, back in their dimensions, have other power? Because like he said these guys are the most, he's like, these guys are extremely dangerous and all that. So, yeah. Tens of thousands of criminals possibly on the loose. Again, that's what with no one to stop them. I mean, I guess if they got modern weaponry, but a lot of these dimensions that are more reliant on magic pretty much don't have technology past medieval times. And what's it called? Oh yeah, Brunzetta in the Neverzone is probably dead too. Oh, I think she's a magical creature as well. Seems like she comes and goes with lightning. But another thought. Now that the monsters and humans are on Earth, and yeah, they're pretty much screwed. Like here on Earth, we have a trouble getting along with each other more times than not. Well, more times than not we get along, but you know, there are a few thousand racists in the country, but they're not as prevalent as people would make you believe. But they're still there. And when the two worlds cleave together, um, yeah, they're pretty much, you can hear people screaming and such. So how long before do you think that until the military just mobilizes and just starts executing the monsters? Because I cannot imagine humanity and monsters getting along right off the bat. These are like things right out of the scary movie lot or right out of someone's mythology or like some terrifying myth. So I can't imagine people reacting well to it. So I'm gonna guess there's gonna be a large population of the monsters are gonna die. And there aren't even that many monsters, at least not many sentient ones. At least not that many on Mutiny. But since they destroy the magic, everyone goes back to their own dimension. And yeah, so I guess the monsters who wised up years ago and decided, you know, screw Mutiny, let the humans have it. Oh yeah, speaking of Mutiny, why aren't the monsters called humans since they're the original habitat? I mean, original. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, I can't imagine that ending well for the monsters. Second off, Mina Loveberry. Um, why did no one arrest her? The knights still have their swords and crap, and Globgor, I'm pretty sure his powers aren't related to magic. So why did no one just straight up grab her? She even looked like she would start to age before, you know, it all ended. So I'm like, why did no one grab her? I don't get that. Sometimes I don't get that show. Anyway, and also, all right, I didn't finish talking about Moon. Now that I think about it. So, like I was saying earlier, before I went off and started talking about the other topics, like after Eclipse, pretty much left all those humans to just wander the forest without any home or job. They found Moon. Moon helped build a little society. It went from a few months from like just a bunch of unlocated tents to a village with its own market and everything. And then like when the Solarian warriors came, like they were building like this huge fortress wall. Now that something that like that, it takes time and manpower. So I'm guessing at least a couple hundred to 1,000 humans got sent out or started helping them, and then they built this, which something of that size. Um, let's see, since they had a mountain and everything around it, let's just say 6 to 10 years they'd build, but it's only been a few months, so humans can work hard. I guess that's something. And they got to remember, like, a lot of people were dissatisfied with their leadership because hundreds of Solarian wards were made. And honestly, Moon was stupid for doing that and not coming up with some type of proper backup plan. That's on her. That's on her. I will not defend that part of her plan. And like, yeah, it's her helping the racists and all that, but honestly, this could have been avoided if I feel like Moon should become Eclipse's what's called advisor, and like a lot of that stuff would have been fixed. Because like even when Eclipse was like talking later, she's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. It's like maybe you should evacuate the castle and the people first before you start fighting that thing again." It's just like if they work together, yeah, this would have been fine. And I mean, I guess Moon's slang at her for the whole stopping her from fighting Meteora, and then her getting hit, and then her forcing herself in the realm of magic, and her losing her memory for months and not being able to see her family and all that. But also, I feel like if they like truly sat down and weren't so closed off about everything, this wouldn't have happened. Oh yeah, and let's see, closing points. Marco, he should get the Bro of the Year award. Honestly, he like freaking fought a crazy unicorn and to save Tom. So yeah, Bro of the Year. And yeah, that's pretty much all my final thoughts on Star Wars: The Forces of Evil and their finale. A lot of questions unanswered, a few things they left, loose. And honestly, I didn't care for it. Well, it wasn't bad. It was like, maybe I'll watch it in a few years again if I feel like it, see if it's any good. But right now, it's like it could have been better if they, I don't know, had more time. I feel like they rushed a lot of plot points, and like, oh, also Starco. That's, uh, I really didn't like it. I'm not really too into shipping in general, but I really didn't like Starco because, well, Marco's like what, 40 and Star's 15. That's all I'm gonna say about it. This has been your host of Mysterious Mystery, and I'll see you in the next video. For all those who are watching, bye. Oh yeah, and another thing I forgot to mention: Moon and pretty much all the humans who went against Eclipse and the royal family and all that, they pretty much just got away with treason. Think about it. That one village woman said, "Is like, I guess I'm not as hate-filled as I thought." I'm like, okay, you still committed treason. And then another Solarian warrior, I should have said. Another Solarian warrior like broke out his arms, like, I'm free. He's like, oh, where did my muscles go? So were some of them conscripted into the whole Mina's cause thing? Like, what's going on with all that? And yeah. So like, I mean, I guess like now that they're fused with Earth, they can pretty much get away with it because the justice system is kind of going to take a whack, and is going to take a, it's called not a whack, so it's pretty much gone because they're in other countries. Also, are there only a couple thousand humans and monsters? Because like they didn't seem like there were that many humans and monsters there on the humans being the Solarian warriors and the ones that didn't even fight with Solarian warriors. Like I think the ones who didn't fight with Solarian warriors were like a couple house servants and then like the cooking staff and then some knights. I guess their families too didn't get kicked out of their homes. So yeah, how few humans are there? Like are they all around that world? But all around Muni has other kingdoms like the pigeons and the what's called the merfolks and all these other people. So are there just not that many humans? I mean, I guess the Johansson are humans, but yeah, I don't really know. There aren't that many in the Spider Bite people. I guess there are humans as well. I don't really get how the royalty system works there, but yeah, they just all got away with treason, which is super dumb. But that's the way they decided to end the show, and didn't hate it as much as I pretty much made it sound like I did in this video. I had a lot of problems with it, but I honestly didn't hate the ending. I just didn't care for it. Alright, now that's all. See you in the next video. Bye.